Hi, welcome to another interview episode of One More Thing. And this is
Charmaine!
yeah, and we also have
Astray.
who is eating.
Kaito.
Yay, Toastbox, we sponsor us.
Very nice.
Alright, okay, before we get in, the typical disclaimer, we are not professionals. Are you a professional?
I would say I'm a professional, but I can't diagnose. Yeah, so I think that's a difference.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, whatever we talk about is it's just our opinions and what we have experienced. If you need any real advice, then yeah, please seek a professional. Yeah, because they are licensed professionally to help you. Yeah. Alright, and there may be some bad words here and there. We'll try not to, but sometimes, the moment calls for it. And yeah, we got no choice.
True, facts.
Alright, so let's get started. We are gonna start the same way with some icebreakers. Just
Okay.
10 quick questions, this or that.
Okay.
So that either I can find out how common are we actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I know you for a while, but
Yeah, we've
it's
never
the,
really,
it's
like-
the important questions.
Okay.
Like first one,
Love that.
pineapples or no pineapples on pizza?
Whoa. I can do both, but my preference is.
The friendship is about to change right here.
I can do pineapple on pizza.
Can, so means you
I
would
can.
rather not.
I
is
can.
it?
I can do both. I don't really have a preference.
Alright, okay, at least
Yeah.
you can have pineapples on pizza.
Yeah.
Okay, good, our friendship is still here.
Thank you.
Next one, number 2, Mac or Windows?
Wow, Mac, sorry.
Yes!
My apologies.
Loser!
Like, I just can't, like, it's so beautiful. Like, Windows is very practical, but like, Macs, like, it's too beautiful. Like, I'm a sucker for, like,
The
beautiful
interface
things.
is so nice,
Yeah.
the aesthetic is so easy to use, and it doesn't lag.
yeah, sorry.
But I see the appeal in Windows.
It's
Yeah,
true, it's
yeah.
true. Yeah,
There's more things, practicality in it.
yeah.
Okay, next one, running or cycling?
Ooh, I'm a runner. Yeah, like we are like 5 a.m. runners. Yeah, through and through. That's why we need the pre-workout, right?
That's right. The pre-workout is so important. Makes a big difference.
Yeah, cycling is okay, but I just think you need a lot of distance for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm a runner.
Nice. Alright, next one. Reading a book or watching a movie?
Wow. I think if it depends on what headspace I'm in. I think. Yeah, like if I wanna be really absorbed into like the world's atmosphere and like really the build up and stuff, then
Yeah.
I will read. Yeah, like if I'm looking for like visuals and a lot more of like how they are bringing the story to life, then I'll watch a movie.
Okay.
Yeah. Or if I don't have the capacity to read, then I'll watch a movie.
So 1.5 hour condensed version of the story.
Yeah. Correct.
Okay, alright. I think for me it's a movie.
Yeah.
I can't read a book.
Okay. Fair.
I can, but I mean, yeah, but the books I read are like non-fiction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
non-fiction?
there are no non-fiction. I mean there are, but
Yeah.
movies are usually fiction, like Marvel movies.
Oh, true. That's
Okay.
true.
I ain't
Yeah.
gonna read that much comic books.
Yeah.
Alright, next one. A
Mm.
chill vacation or an adventure vacation?
Ooh, that's a good one. I am someone who's pretty structured. Yeah. So to me when I plan a vacation, I need to at least secure like the plane tickets, the hotel rooms, so on and so forth. And then roughly what we're doing, especially if you need to pay,
Yeah.
for those like attractions and stuff.
Correct.
Yeah, like like Tokyo, like Disneyland, like you gotta book that
Yeah.
stuff like few months prior. Yeah, but other than that, like I'm pretty free flowing. Yeah, I don't really have to rush everything in a day. We can like sit, make breakfast, chill if that's like the intention of the day. Yeah, like I'm pretty chill. like, you know, go on a holiday, like, you don't want to stress.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so just chill, you know, that kind of thing.
So more
Yeah.
chill
Yeah,
than a bit of both, but more on the chill side.
yeah.
Cool.
Yes.
Alright. Okay, number 6. This is the all important question.
Okay.
Nike or Adidas?
Ooh.
I think I know which one you usually go
I
to,
think you
right?
know which one also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say it together.
Okay.
3.
1, 2, 3.
Adidas.
Wow.
Yeah, 'cause
Really?
ever since
Yeah.
I danced with her, she always
Yeah.
wear Adidas stuff.
It's true, it's true.
Yeah, like especially the pants.
Yeah.
She's wearing
Like-
Adidas right now.
Yeah, Adidas. Yeah, I used to wear like Nike,
Mm.
like those really thick like Nike shoes. And then I realized that, like when I take dance class, right?
Yeah.
I always trip and fall. Like every time I see the
Feel-
video, right, I just like trip. And I'm just thinking like, either like the shoes are not working
Yeah.
or like my technique's just not working.
Either or.
You know, maybe both. I don't know. Yeah, but ever since I wore like flatter shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, not just Adidas. Like it's gotten better. I hope.
I think it has.
Yeah, thank you.
Alright, okay, next one. Superman or Batman? In terms of a superhero.
In terms of superhero. So controversial.
Right?
I'm gonna get cancelled. I think. Okay, I like the idea of like Superman,
Yeah.
but based on like the core of like the person, I think Batman's cooler.
The core of the person.
Yeah, I just feel like because like Batman's origins is that like he doesn't have powers. He's
Yeah.
rich, sure.
That's what we said.
Yeah, like he's rich, sure, right? But like every fight that like he goes out to, like he might die. Like Superman's very strong, just because he's Superman, right? Like he was born with like powers.
It's like Batman is more fearless and he will risk his life for others. Whereas I mean Superman will,
Yeah.
but he just knows that
He's invincible.
Yeah. I think the stakes are just different.
okay, that's a
That's such an interesting insight. You know
Yeah.
why? Because
Why?
I said Batman because he's funny.
I mean he is, and he's rich.
yeah, he's rich. Man.
And he has a cool layer, you know.
And Alfred.
And
Alfred.
Alfred's the best. Alfred's the
Correct.
best character.
And he said, "Who's gonna drive him home?"
exactly.
I said, "You're right."
Exactly.
Right.
You're right.
Okay, next one. Milo or Horlicks?
Milo.
Yeah.
Sorry, Horlicks is just so milky, so weird.
I don't know why I like bunched the people who drink Horlicks as pretentious people.
Oh really? Wow.
I don't know, it's a little bit negative, but
Okay.
yeah, I don't know why. It's just
Yeah.
like I don't know, is Horlicks more expensive than Milo? I think it is.
I think it is.
Yeah,
it is.
so it's like to me it's like, oh, you are rich. You drink Horlicks. Yeah.
Okay, I see that. I see
Alright,
that.
okay, next. Indoor activities or outdoor activities?
Ooh. I love water sports, but not in this economy. It's so hot. Yeah, period. It's so hot.
Okay, it is so hot.
Like,
Period.
oh my gosh, like being out in the sea, right? Like if I've ever done like water sports,
Yeah.
like sailing and stuff, like being on the sailboat
Oh,
and
the
just
pen you're gonna
and
get.
just lying
for that.
down, yeah, and just like hearing the breeze and like the water waves, so therapeutic. But then you're burning.
And you also hear it.
Yeah. And your skin just like starts to melt away. You know? Wow, it's just crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So outdoor, but
Not in this economy.
Not in this
Not-
economy.
okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, last one. Coke
Yeah.
or Sprite?
Oh, I don't drink either.
So neither.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Okay,
I don't drink.
I'll give you another option. Or coffee.
Okay, coffee. As you can tell, I'm an addict. I need coffee.
What's the best
Yeah.
cup of coffee you've ever had?
Oh, what's the best?
Yeah.
In Sydney.
I knew it.
Yeah, sorry, hands down. I think Singapore's coffee is really good. I think especially like those coffee shop coffee, right? Like you get from like hawker centers and stuff, but they're so thick. Like they're so dark. Like when I look into it, like I can't see anything.
Like my soul.
Yeah. It's like my soul before the drink.
Mm.
Yeah, like and then my stomach feels it. Like in pain.
No.
Just in pain. Yeah, but like Australia coffee, right? I can drink like so many cups. Like it flows down like so smoothly, and my stomach, beautiful. Doesn't feel anything.
Amen.
Yeah,
Bless.
yeah. Oh my gosh, like heaven.
Alright, coffee
Heaven
lovers,
right
go to
there.
Sydney.
Yeah,
Get some cup of coffees.
it's true. It's true. Just go for it. Just go for it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Alright. I think we are at about a 8 out of 10 in similarities.
Okay. What were
Yeah.
the two that were not?
Nike
Okay.
and the Coke or Sprite, because I love Coke. I love
Okay.
Sprite.
Okay. Coke.
Yeah.
Oh,
But I like Sprite better.
okay.
Yeah.
Love that.
So 8 out of 10 is still pretty good.
Yeah.
Better than Astrid's one. It was 7.
Astrid.
Because I'm a Windows girl.
You're a Windows.
Yes,
darling.
Windows.
Mac over
I
Windows
see.
all the way.
No, but it's also because of what you do, right?
Yes.
That needs that interface.
True.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think it's different.
That's right.
Just different vibes.
Fight me.
Yeah.
True. Alright, nice. Okay, let's move on. Alright, let's move on. Let's go to background and start with our first impressions.
Oh my god.
Which is so long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, who want to go first?
Okay, I'll go first.
Okay.
Okay, honestly I
Yeah.
don't remember because it's so long ago.
Yeah.
If I am not wrong, it's probably gonna be one of the Team EV open sessions, right? Because
Yeah.
I think that happened before I became a coach. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
definitely
I
it
don't know.
was there.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think the first time I remember having an impression of you, not that I had no impression back then. It was just like, I was
Okay.
just focusing on dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was during Elites, like the
Mm.
first batch of Elites, so in 2017.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that batch was very different from now because now it's very structured and there's a set leader and stuff like that. Last time was just like we have to run it ourselves.
Yeah.
So when we were doing all of the organization and planning, yeah, you helped a lot. Like even though you were still in school and all that. So yeah, I think that was just a good indicator that you were responsible and you have a lot of ideas and you are respectful of everybody's different opinions, which is true until now. Like if later on we're gonna talk about her work and everything, yeah, it's like carrying forward through it. And I think if I'm not wrong, I
Yeah.
kind of felt easy around you,
Okay.
like because I'm not a extrovert, I'm more of
Yeah.
an introvert, so
Okay.
feeling comfortable with people is not very common, but somehow it's, yeah, I just felt a bit more okay and comfortable around you. And if I'm not wrong, after a while I think I realized that we have the same personality type,
Yeah.
right? INFJ.
INFJ. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, that's
It's
that's
true.
quite cool.
It's true.
So that was my first impressions.
Oh my gosh, I love that because I think throughout our long time that we've known each other, I've never really heard our first impressions before. Yeah, so that was really nice to hear. Yeah, it was really nice to hear. Love that. I love that.
Okay, what's the first impression of me? Split pop pop.
Okay, let me think. It has been a very long time.
Yes.
I've always pictured you as someone who had a lot on your plate. Yeah, I think I've even told like the other members from our first like elites, right, that I felt that you were someone who was trying to grow with us, but also trying to grow as someone who would lead us. Yeah, and I think because of that, I had a lot of heart. Yeah, trying to understand where you were coming from and seeing how I could actually help. Yeah, but I didn't know how to. I think at that point of time, yeah.
If you figure it out, let me know too, so I can help myself.
Yeah, I think, yeah. So that was the impression that I had. Like, there was a lot that you were trying to figure out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in some sense also it was very difficult for you to express it. Yeah, or to kind of share that burden with I guess the team. Yeah, because it's very different sets of burdens, right? There is one thing to be a dancer, right? To be in a team.
Yeah.
And there's another to be leading.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And you were going on both journeys from the start. Yeah, together. I think as a dancer you're already very seasoned, right?
Very seasoned. No, not really.
Yeah, I mean only, you know. Yeah, but I think as a team, like, we were also quite new, trying to figure things
Yeah.
out. And also you were trying to lead us in the way that you feel that aligns with who you are as well. Yeah, along with the team. And I think, to be very honest, like, the team could see that. Yeah, and I think that was the impression that I had, that there was a lot going on, yeah, in this human being. Yeah. And I was just very interested to know, like, what's happening. I just didn't know, like, how to, you know, like, ask that kind of thing. Yeah, so I'm very, very happy that, like, we're here. Like, we're here right now. Yeah.
Nice, thanks for that insight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I think what you said about the having issues or problems but not being able to say it out, because I mean, as a dancer, you probably would, you know, like, dancer to dancer is all of that. But again, from the leader point of view, it's like, you have to know what is helpful for the team to know, and what maybe is not that helpful. Yeah, so it's just that two different roles. Yeah, that made it a little bit tough. But yeah, I think it was key in discovering the path that I wanted to go towards. Yeah, and helping me know what to do a little bit better now.
Yeah.
Because I still don't know what to do. If I look like I know what to do, it's because I'm good at acting.
Yeah. No, but I think building on to that, that's the journey of life, right?
Yeah.
Like, being able to discover things as you experience life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And like, yeah, like now I think I'm better than where I was before, right? Just because you know maybe one or two things that are a little bit easier right now, right? And that's life, I guess. Like, oh, I may be better now, and I may be even better tomorrow, right? Yeah. And that's just how life is.
Yeah.
Right?
Most important thing is just find us. You have to have a safe space for you to be able to explore that life.
Yeah.
You know, in a way that you will want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think at that time that batch it was still pretty safe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, no drama, no drama.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to your interests and passions before we get into the whole work stuff. So I think recently, like you said just now, you've started running more. Then you've also done a locking course as well.
Yeah.
And then you're also doing an intensive dance program now.
Yeah.
Just a lot of things going on.
Yeah, just a lot of things, I think.
Why suddenly is there so many things in your life?
I think this year in particular, my theme of this year is saying yes to things that give me energy. Yeah, I think a lot of times there is always the extreme end of saying yes to everything and saying no to everything. But then how do we decide what to say yes to and what to say no to, right? And for me, just my personal life, I think energy is something that I have very limited resources to. Yeah.
Aging, guys.
Could also be because of aging, yeah, and could also be because of the job, right? Yeah, I realized that I need at least 2 coffees now. I'm really an addict. Don't know whether I can say this in public. Yeah, but so that's where I started to decide to myself, without my work personality, who am I? Yeah, I started to figure out, or I'm trying to figure out, yeah, like, what do I identify as? Yeah, not sexually. But like, you know, in terms of like,
gotta put it out there.
but in terms of like, yeah, like who is Charmaine? Like what do I enjoy? Like, to my core, to my soul, right? Like what gives me life. Yeah. And I think I'm trying things out. Yeah, like running. Running is because I have like a back injury, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, coming from someone that also has a lot of injuries. Yeah.
We're so similar.
Yeah, unfortunately for this regard, right? I think that gives me a lot of importance of really keeping my body healthy. Yeah, and then also running at 5 a.m. every week. Wayne runs a lot, yeah, but I can only do once a week, yeah, at least for 5 a.m. right? I think it's the most beautiful thing. Yeah, you are not occupied. Your mind is half dead, right? Half awake by
Pretty much.
pre-workout, and you are just running. Yeah. So when I'm running, right, it gives me a lot of space for me to just let my energy flow. Yeah. It gives me the space to release any tension that I have. Yeah. Work, like personal life, just maybe me in general. Yeah, and it gives me that platform to just be me. Yeah, and I'm not running past like aunties and uncles, and not running past like people coming back from work, that kind of thing. Yeah, but I think running gives me a lot of ideas as well.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like a
so-
meditative state.
Yeah, so I love that. Like as I'm reading books and I'm running, suddenly it pops up like, oh, like I read this. Like why does it resonate? Why does it stay with me? Yeah, and then I'm like, oh, I'll stop in the middle of running, right? Just stop there, write it down, and then like move forward. Yeah. So when I'm walking back home, right, I look at the notes that I have, and I'm like, oh, like this is why. Yeah, and then like I reflect on that. Yeah, just for running in general. I'll move forward just a little bit. Locking, any other stuff like the new dance project, right? I've actually, not a lot of people know this, but I picked up saxophone.
Damn! Whoa!
Yeah.
Okay.
I picked up saxophone as well.
When did that start?
Yeah, just recently actually. I still suck.
No,
I'm not gonna lie.
blow the saxophone.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
I don't know if the mic can pick up that, but
You can go for the camera
Yeah.
now.
Ashley just like face palming herself right now.
concussions.
Yeah, she has concussion, she said. Yeah. But I think I had a lot of doubts about my abilities. Yeah, not just like for dancing, but I think for work as well. Which we can talk a lot about later on. And I felt like throughout the years of working and being a dancer, I started to lose a lot of confidence. Yeah, so this year itself, ever since I got into like the locking course, like I met like Jin.
Yeah.
And I think you would really love him actually. Like Jin was very insightful about certain things, and I think his space was so safe that it made me want to try, like a project that I will be going out of my comfort zone for. Yeah, and I tried it with Astrid, and we got in.
Sick.
Yeah, which I didn't know why. I didn't think I would get in, to be honest. Yeah, so that is like me trying to battle like, I guess like my confidence. Yeah, like the project itself is a plus point for me. Yeah, meeting new people is a plus point, but I think what I really strive for was like just building like confidence and like just for me to try new things. Yeah, so hence why I'm trying a lot of things. Yeah, I would not recommend if it's something that you don't want to do. Yeah, like I don't think the numbers is important. Yeah, I think it's about what really gives you energy at this point of time, and if you have the resources and time to do so, then go for it. Yeah, because after this dance project, I think I want to take a break from dance for a while. Yeah, just so I can like reflect a little bit about like what has happened. Yeah, and then like see where I want to direct my energy to. Yeah.
Take a step back and reassess where you're at, and then find a better, not better, but the next way forward.
Yeah. I think especially if you're in a project with someone who is very like really wants to bring this project to life,
Mm.
yeah, I think it's very respectful to give them the energy and time,
Yeah.
for them to make this project come to life. Yeah, so when I do take on projects and stuff, I want to give my best.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so that I can also respect that, you know, this choreographer chose me, right? And because of that, like, I want to give back as well. Yeah, so I don't know where I'm going with this, but like,
Yeah, let me
but
just
like, yeah.
step in. Like, I
Sorry,
think that
yeah.
last point was super solid. That whole
Yeah.
want to give you 100% because you know the choreographer chose you to be in this project and all. I think
Yeah.
that is something that is very, what's that word, valuable to have, or that
Mm.
thought, because nowadays like opportunities are everywhere, right?
Yeah.
People no longer feel that not appreciation, but
Yeah.
that the value of being chosen by someone to do something, right? They see it as like, oh yeah, this is now an option for me that I can take on if I want to take on,
Yeah.
right? So I think, yeah, that is a thought process or a not idea, what's that word, way of thinking
Yeah.
that everyone should have. Yeah, like, doesn't matter whether you are professional or you are even just a beginner, right? Because I think especially if you're a beginner, you should have this way of thinking, because then it develops into your professional life after that, right? So like even for secondary school, right, you get to be in SYF or a certain competition team, right? You have to know how to give your 100% into that project, whatever it is, especially if you've auditioned for it and you got in, right? So you don't
Yeah.
just like give up halfway and be like, oh, I got new commitments, so I'm just gonna go for those new things, rather than finish up the commitment that I already had before.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah. No, I love that, because as much as there is a lot of things on my plate, right? I think none of the things that I take on clashes, directly with, let's say, saxophone classes on Mondays. I chose Mondays because there is no practice.
yeah,
Yeah. So I think as much as we want to also be aligned with who we are and what we want to take and explore, I think it's also very important to be very respectful of other people's time and commitment as well. Yeah, so projects, usually we have practices on Saturdays. So I make sure that I don't have anything on Saturdays, right? Just so that it's respectful to both ways. Yeah, I think it's very important that we also be very careful and to also remember that each opportunity that we have is a privilege.
Oof, yes,
Yeah,
so true.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it goes more than just time planning, like, oh, I got this on this day, I got this on that day, but I think it's also energy planning,
Yeah.
which links back to what you said about, how to find the things that you spend your energy on, such that you are not too overworked, but the return of your energy is there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so oof, nice. That's
Love
a
that.
good conversation. Alright, so let's get into the actual main things
Okay.
that we want to talk about for this podcast. So the
Yeah.
first one is your job. The reason why I want to talk about it is because, firstly, mental health is something that I am very, what's that word, very close to, or it's something close to me, right? And I'm interested in people who work in the mental health sector.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've only been on the other side,
Okay.
the one receiving the
Yeah.
service from mental health sector. I've never been in the providing mental health. Yeah, so
Okay.
I would like to see what's on the other side. Like, what is going on of the person who's sitting opposite me.
Okay. Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
what is it like? Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, tell us more about your job.
Okay. I recently changed jobs, but I think my stance right now will be coming from my previous job. Yeah, in the mental health sector. I came from youth mental health sector, right? So we work with youth from 12 to 25 years old. Yeah. In Singapore, If you'd like to know, if you're under 35 years old,
25,
35 years
35.
old, you are considered a youth.
I'm still a youth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Old man.
Yeah.
Damn.
I'm not that old, guys. I'm a youth still.
Yeah. But just in like our service providing like context, it's only under 25. Yeah.
Understand.
Okay. Yeah. And in the mental health sector, I think generally, right, there are different areas that people can go to, right? Very known is hospitals, right? IMH. Yeah, that's the most common one. Another thing is community support. Yeah, there's a difference between community support as well as school support. Yeah.
Okay.
So we can dive in a little bit later on in terms of like what are the differences. Yeah. And then I'm just trying to see like how I can also speak about like my job and stuff. Yeah, so we serve youths that are usually low to moderate risk. Yeah, maybe coming from this side, then you'll be able to know like what are the classifications,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, so we serve youths that are like low to moderate risk who could be diagnosed or not diagnosed. Yeah, and I think the rule of thumb for us is that we provide casework, case management, as well as programs, and definitely it is free of charge actually. Yeah, so I think a lot of the time the perception is that seeking for help, you need a lot of money. Yeah, you need a lot of money for therapy, right? That's only maybe applicable for private sector. Yeah, but for community support, it's actually free. Yeah, so that's like a beautiful thing. We don't have to pay, or if we do, it's really subsidized. Yeah, so I think that's beautiful lah. Like to be able to step into a place where people that need help can come to get help. And they are not restricted by the cost itself.
But that's the community sector.
Yeah, that's the community side.
So like going back to like hospital sector and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still expensive.
To some degree, yes. Yeah.
From
Especially-
experience.
Yes, especially
it
if
is
there's
expensive.
medication involved.
Yeah, all the medications.
Yeah. It's
But
true.
I do understand the community part because I was also offered that when I was receiving treatment at IMH. Yeah, so I was under this psychosis wing,
Yeah.
and then they had a lot of programs that they wanted to offer to me, but because I'm an introvert, so I'm like, nah, I'm good, I'm
Yeah.
alright.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also like the whole case
Management.
thing. Yeah, I had a case manager as well. Like it really helped a lot because it felt more personal, right? It's not like someone you just see like once in 3 months just to fill up your prescription and all that, but they check in and then they always ask for a meetup to discuss, and it's all like what you said, it's free.
Yeah.
I think it's like done out of goodwill and really their passion to provide service. So yeah, I think for those that are afraid of the costs,
Yeah.
maybe you can go for like look for more of those community support
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. It's really true. Yeah. I think if I were to add in the difference between community and hospitals is that community can't diagnose you. Yeah. You have to be of course working in like the hospital setting. Yeah. But you have to be a psychiatrist. Yeah, to be diagnosed. Yeah, so even if I'm a caseworker and I do have knowledge in terms of screening, for certain diagnoses, I can't diagnose you. Yeah, I could fall in like a mental health assessment, to say that this potential individual could have, let's say, major depressive disorder, and then you'll be kind of referred over to a hospital, for the actual diagnosis.
It's like a GP will refer someone with an injury to a specialist
Yeah.
to get an actual understand.
It's true. Yeah, so I think that's a slight difference in terms of like the community. Yeah.
Oof, that's interesting. So is this something that you saw yourself doing ever?
Okay. I honestly, I've always wanted to venture in. Yeah, I love to be of service to people. Yeah, and I think that's very prominent in my earlier days.
Yeah.
I was very people pleasing as well. Not very helpful. Right?
What do you mean not very helpful?
Not very helpful to some degree, of course. But I think as someone who is very interested in being a service to others, I kind of always seen myself, trying to dabble into therapy work,
Yeah.
right, or just community work in general, and because COVID struck, I was taking a diploma in arts and theatre management, right, having really inspiring ideas of becoming or going into the art industry, but I think what was lacking for me was that human touch. I think creative aspects and the arts are very different. For me, I was seeking for that impact, and that service that I could do, right, for the individual itself. And then when COVID struck, all the art stuff
Yep.
was very limited.
Tough times.
Tough times. So it gave me a window of opportunity to intern at like a social sector. Honestly, I didn't have much confidence into thinking that they would take me in. I had no prior experiences, nor did I actually volunteer in any other particular areas, right? Busy dancing. So when I got the interview and I got the internship, I think I was more than happy to have a pathway for me to explore that. So that's how I got into social sector and never left.
Nice. That's cool. What's the what's the industry like working with, like, cause not every industry, the people who work in it kind of like have their own dynamics and their own environment. So what's it like? Because I would assume everyone is more in touch with their own emotions. They're more educated on it, so they are more sensitive and all that. So I mean, you have worked in other jobs, right, like outside of the mental health sector, right? So like comparing those two worlds, like what is the difference?
Wow. Okay. Besides the social sector, right, I work with artists, for like music festivals and stuff.
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me this.
So it's clients, but on two different ends. Definitely in the mental health sector, everyone's a lot calmer.
Speaking with the calming voice.
No, I'm not gonna lie, everyone's a lot calmer. Even when they are frustrated, right, I think there is still that level of calmness that they embody. Which is hilarious. I think it's quite funny. And I think the most beautiful thing about working in the mental health sector is that communication is more, I guess it's more obvious there. Like for example, things like, hey, I just had this case, I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed, give me 5 minutes, are quite common sentences that you hear, which is not very common in real life, right? When you're frustrated.
Like, hey, wait, hey. Hey, give me the
just keep quiet, right? That kind of thing. Or things like, hey, like I'm gonna step out for a while, like I need to take this phone call, just give me a moment. That kind of thing. Like I think communication is more obvious there. And I think that's the difference between, I guess, the mental health sector and then when you're working with artists. It could also be because there's a level of stress and reputation, right, with the quality of craft that they're doing. And that really spikes a lot in terms of how we then present ourselves, right? When we are naturally in a very stressful state, we may act in ways that we don't align with, we don't resonate with. It doesn't always mean that this is who we are as a person, right? This is just one aspect of who we are. Yeah. At this point of time, we just can't regulate, and
Yeah.
that's okay, right? But then I guess what we do with that emotion that matters a little bit more. Yeah. So I guess the difference really shows. Yeah, when you work with these two groups of people.
Mm.
Yeah. So I think that's the beautiful thing with that. Yeah.
Nice. Alright. Yeah. It's what I would expect as well.
Yeah.
Like, you know, more calming conversations, you
Yeah.
know, diffusing tensions
Yeah.
and being able to express yourself in a more accurate way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seems like a place I should work in. I need the
Ooh.
calmness.
You need the
I
calmness.
need the calmness.
In the midst of calmness, it's chaos. Like if I could paint you a picture, right, from the mental health sector, right? I can't speak for everyone, of course. just from my experience alone, it feels like, okay, think of it as like you're in like a studio,
Okay.
a white studio,
Oh.
right? Everything just white. You're in the middle, and everyone is going around you, right? There are noise everywhere. People are screaming, people are shouting, people are, I don't know, doing their craft, stuff like that, right? And then you're just there, trying to find the lines in all of these conversations that's happening that matters, and trying to find the peace and silence in this vastly noisy place. Yeah, I think
You should make that into an experiential.
right, exercise.
Experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think because for our line of work there is a lot of noise, right? But not all noise matters.
Mm.
Yeah, so we really gotta find like what really matters for this individual that would actually help. Yeah, this individual in their journey in life. Yeah, that matters a lot more. Yeah, because the individual have everything that they need.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that how we come in is really to pinpoint certain lines, right? That we feel that you have voiced out that matters to you. Yeah, and are these things that you want to explore? Yeah, because I think what resonates with you as well is the life is yours, right?
Mm.
We're not here to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
We are just here as another individual in this life, right? To walk with you through hard times. Yeah. No one needs to walk through hard times alone. Yeah, and I think our job is not to correct you. There is no correct path in this world, right? That there could be better paths, maybe worse paths in societal norms, right? So worst path is that you get to jail, right? At the end of the day, it still doesn't mean you're a bad person, right? To some degree, of course. But in terms of just being there and being present,
Yeah.
right, and really hearing what the individual has to say, I think that is our main core of work. Yeah, at least that's what I believe our main core of work is. Yeah, based on my experience alone. Yeah,
Nice. That's sweet.
yeah. Yeah.
Alright, so talking about like, you know, helping people figure out what is within them that they need to take note of. I mean,
Yeah.
no, I'm not sure how many cases you've had. I think I don't have to know, it's fine. But
Yeah.
I think throughout all of that, like, I think this is one thing that I want to try to understand as well, because
Okay.
I work with a lot of students,
Yeah.
right? So I think I want to know, like, what are the trends
Yeah.
among those who need help? Like, what is there a common like
Mm-hmm.
thing
Yeah.
that causes them certain troubles and situations? Like, it could be like maybe they are overstimulated by external stuff, or they lack the knowledge to process their own emotions and all that. So what is the few things you always come back to, realizing that, oh, actually this is not all they need to do, but I mean
Yeah.
it stems from these stuff.
Well, that's a really big question.
Yeah.
I honestly wish I had the right answers. Right? Then that would mean that we can solve
Right?
everyone's problems right at the get-go. Some things that we notice is a lot of pressure. Yeah, coming from societal norms, right? Coming from family, yeah, and also from themselves. Yeah. When you are diagnosed with a mental health disorder, it can be biological, in a sense where certain diagnoses could be or could have a higher percentage of you getting that particular diagnosis because maybe your grandparents had it, your parents had it. It runs in like the family
Genetics
genes. Yeah. It doesn't mean that you will get it.
Yeah.
It's just like the higher
More
chances.
predisposed to.
Correct. And then external factors, right? Like family, the situation that you're in. To be honest, I think the trend has a lot to do with family dynamics, right? Unfortunately, the environment that you grew up in,
Yeah.
right? I really strongly feel for having a basis in your life, right? And with such a family dynamic, it does shape how you view life, yeah, as a whole. And that is then more prominent in your later years, yeah, when you can decide on what to do. Yeah, so violent parents are very common to some degree, and children, when they are exposed to this kind of environments, the way that they express how they feel in terms of frustration, anger, sadness is through violence.
Because
Yeah.
they learn it from their parents.
Yes, it's because it's what they feel that it is the norm, yeah, and is this how they should be doing it? Yeah, so I think for students wise itself, be it primary school, secondary school, poly, we do hear a lot of exam stresses,
Yeah.
right? I think as an adult, we don't have much school stresses anymore. I am still partially
I think it's not
schooling.
school stress, it's work stress.
Yeah, it's just a different stress, a different kind of stress, right? I think it's also very humbling as an adult to be grounded and to hear them, right? In terms of this is their life right now. Yeah, this is the biggest stressor that they have right now. Yeah, and a lot of times we hear a lot of things like exam stress, bullying. Yeah, social media has come up as something that is also very obvious, yeah, in the mental health scene, because now there is social media in play. Yeah, I think the internet has brought us closer, but it has also brought us a lot further. Yeah, not in terms of just like human interaction, but there is a lot of outlets now for people to share their experiences. It's a beautiful thing, and it could be a double-edged sword. Yeah, because we also don't want to re-traumatize people. Yeah, so there is a lot of things that I think teenagers and young teens are now facing, yeah, that maybe the older generation did not face, yeah, just because of the internet and stuff like that. Identity has been also up and coming. It has always been there.
Identity.
Yeah, it has always been there in terms of like your sexuality, how you
Ah,
identify
okay.
as, right? I think it's more brought to the forefront right now, just because of I think how we are questioning certain things in life, so on and so forth. And we also have young teens and young teenagers that are very confused about whether it is a safe space for them to express who they really are, or should they hide. Yeah, because it is not a safe environment.
There's a lot of censorship and different views and political stuff.
Yeah, correct. So it's very hard to, I guess, for them to navigate. Yeah, and then that's where prolonged stress and prolonged external and internal factors can lead to potential diagnosis. Yeah, when it is not manageable for them itself. Yeah, so these are things that could play out in the long run, right?
Yeah.
But it may not be the absolute cases. Yeah, PTSD, grief are all very different categories on its own. So that would be something entirely different from like the mental health diagnosis, stuff like that. Yeah.
A lot to digest
Yeah.
from that. So insightful.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe if I were to like compress all that, maybe
Yeah.
it's just more of like, I mean, of course there's a lot to it, but pressure
Yeah.
from external sources and your upbringing,
Mm.
the environment you were in where you were growing,
Yep.
then a lot to do with maybe social media. I'm going to talk about social media a lot later.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause
Oh,
yeah,
wow, okay.
I have a lot of issues with that.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Okay.
then also the I would say the more the clearer segregation of different camps of beliefs and all that, which
Yeah.
is the whole identity thing,
Mm.
right? Like last time it used to be more. It used to be less known, but
Yeah.
because it was less known, there were less lines or camps that were formed. It's just like a bit everywhere. But now that it's more formed, everyone has stronger opinions on it. It becomes, it brings those people together, but then separates, you know, like what
Yeah.
you said just now.
That's true,
Yeah.
that's
So. Yeah. So not really any, like specific things.
Mm.
It's just a whole jumble of different factors, and I think that's what makes mental health incredibly confusing to some people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, to be very honest, as a professional, it's still confusing to me. Yeah. Everything, it's not like every time that I come into work, right, it could be entirely new that I'm learning, right? And having, like, being in this sector really allows you to have a grounding in terms of what you already know
Yeah.
and what you're about to find out. Yeah. And then having to balance that, right? Because you gotta be very open to the idea that your definition can change.
Mm.
Yeah. It doesn't mean that your core changes, right? Because your values are still there. Yeah. It's the principles that may tweak a little bit here and there
Yeah.
based on what is happening on the ground. Yeah. I want to touch on teachers, if that's okay.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
Sure.
A lot of factors in play. I think in Singapore's context, teachers play a big role, I feel, in also shaping the lives of individuals,
Yes.
right? Teenagers, adults. I would not say that they are entirely responsible, right? No one should be entirely responsible for your own growth.
Mostly it's yourself.
Yeah, but I think they are very huge.
It's an big influence.
Yeah, big influence. Yeah, they're influencers.
I'm an influencer.
He's an influencer, you know. Yeah. I think why I want to mention this is because in my own personal life, the reason why I have such strong core values as well is because I had really prominent teachers in my life that really shaped who I would like to be. Yeah. And I think many teachers right now, based on the mental health sector alone, they are also going into training to identify, right, maybe students in their classes that may need to seek for help.
Mm.
Yeah. On our stance, it can also be very difficult, right? They are wearing a lot of hats already at this point of time. Their core work is teaching.
Yeah.
Alright, teaching a subject, making sure that the students are here, so on and so forth. And then well-being, right? Regardless of mental health, it could be maybe financial aid, yeah, family support, that kind of thing. Are they going for CCAs? Yeah, and then now they also have to screen for mental health.
That's
Yeah.
a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot on their plate. It's very important, and I think as a community, it's really our responsibility to help one another, right? In this space, and I think having really prominent teachers in your life would really shape the students. Yeah, to have a very good foundation in terms of who they are,
Yeah.
and then when they know who they are, is the point where they then can explore more. Yeah, using that fundamental, that basis that they have to then explore. Yeah, respectfully in this space. Yeah, I think it's something that we don't give teachers enough credit for. Yeah, and it's just amazing. Like just what you guys are doing, regardless of whether like you're an MOE teacher, you know, you're a private tutor,
Yeah.
you are a dance instructor, you are a CCA teacher.
I think as long as
Right.
you are interacting with
Yeah.
a student of
Mm.
some sort. You are responsible for more than just what profession you are teaching, but
Yeah.
their well-being and their development.
Mm.
Yeah, which is what I've begun to realize more and more over the years. Yeah, it's like, I mean, end of the day, like from a dance coach perspective, I don't think most of them will end up being a dancer
Yeah.
because they have their own other aspirations. It's good if they want to. I will
Yeah.
support them all the way. But usually they will venture out to do what they are more passionate about,
Mm.
and it's like maybe it's more of like how can I still be a part of their future even though I don't teach them anymore, right?
Yeah.
If I'm only teaching them dance, then it's going to be useless to them
Mm.
once they do something else,
It's
right?
true.
So it's like, what are the transferable skills
Mm.
that transcend the profession,
Yeah.
right? And that comes down to like your values and the way you do things and how you go about solving problems or working as a team and all those different things. So yeah, I think that made me realize that our responsibility is a lot heavier.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think if all teachers or coaches understand that, then it's not that we don't care about the craft,
Mm.
but it does not matter as much as how we build the next generation. And I think that will bring us all together, because the more we focus on our craft, the more we're gonna create competition of like, I want to be better than this, and then eventually the ends will justify the means, right? You
Yeah.
want to be so good that you neglect these more important skills of how they are being developed.
Mm.
You overlook all of that, and that comes from like uncontrolled competition.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I hope more and more coaches and teachers understand this part, and not just understand, but make it a priority.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah. I love that. Like, human comes first.
human first,
Yeah.
dancer second,
And then like.
whatever else second.
And then the modality comes like
Yeah.
afterwards. Yeah, I think one thing that really stood out to me was one teacher. I think the first teacher that I ever had was her name was called Madam Kamaria. I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrongly. Madam Kamaria. She was my Indian dance teacher. Yeah, I was telling you this
Yes.
before. Yeah, and that even if you are primary 1 or primary 6, you have to audition to be in SYF. And the higher or older you are, the higher the pressure it's going to be, right? And I think what stood out to me the most was that, it doesn't matter my experience, it doesn't matter my age, right? But I had to fight as equally hard as someone who is younger, someone who was least experienced, someone who was more experienced, someone who was older. Yeah, I had to fight equally as hard for me to get a place. Yeah, for me to earn a place. And I think with that mentality in mind, that really shaped opportunities that I had moving forward in life. When I do get an audition,
Yeah.
right, regardless of whether I'm a senior in the CCA, or for example, like I'm a dance captain. Yeah, to me the idea is that even if I'm the dance captain, and logically speaking, it's a little bit weird that if your dance captain is not in the team, right? But I think the premise is that I still have to fight for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that I'm already entitled for the position. And that's why I think I really value all the other teachers that came afterwards, right? In terms of the lessons that they teach, the experiences that they had, yeah, and it really, I guess, shaped who I am right now. They, even though I may not speak with them anymore
Yeah.
in this lifetime, right? A part of them stayed with me. Yeah, and I love that. Yeah, I really love that. Yeah.
Yeah. Solid.
Yeah.
Teachers are so important.
It's true. It's
Yeah.
true.
Okay. So I think, okay, so on my list, I
Yeah.
have thought out of some things that maybe those who are seeking to maybe learn a bit more about themselves and how to
Yeah.
help themselves,
Okay.
I listed one as like the problem grows from what we are avoiding.
Okay.
Yeah, so in terms of, if let's say someone wants to figure out like, okay, are there any things that might bite me in the future, like if I
Yeah.
don't take care of it now,
Yeah.
right? So when I thought about that, I was just going towards the things you avoid, because usually you avoid things that you don't want to
Mm.
to handle, because it, I don't know, makes you feel weird or uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But even more so, that's what you should be
Mm.
focusing on,
Yeah.
right? So I think, do you agree with that?
Mm.
Like,
Mm.
yeah, usually it's the things that people avoid that ends
Yeah.
up being the problem in the future.
I love that, because I think I've came across that line, I think only recently as well, and it's the idea that people are, myself included, very uncomfortable with situations that requires you to be in a limbo that you do not have answers for, right? I think a lot of the time we want answers.
Yes.
Fair,
Yes.
right? Like, oh, I burned my toast. How come? Like, oh, because I on the toaster at 400 degrees. Like, of course,
Yeah.
But I think the ability for us to grow even more is to sit in that uncomfortable state. Yeah, I was having this conversation with my friends a few days prior.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that sometimes in life when we are trying to figure out who we are, right, we don't want to sit and think about it, because then would we find things that we don't like?
Yeah.
Would we
Correct.
find things that we are actually uncertain of, right? As
Uncertain.
we as we dive deeper into our core, I think the real self surfaces, right? And some people are not ready to face that. Yeah, and some people may not have the resources to face that. Yeah, and I think because of that, a lot of the times it is easier to brush it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
It is easier to not look into it and just find things to occupy your time.
Correct.
Yeah, I think that's where the trouble lies. Yeah, because it's something that you have to face regardless, right? And I do hope that people do get a chance to meet themselves before they pass on from this life, right? So the idea is that it is uncomfortable. That's why people don't want to stay there. Yeah. And I think as I'm growing older, I used to be a type of person that needed certainty, right? Very small examples would be things like, what time should we meet at where? You have to give me a point of time, like what's the plan? Like you gotta tell me the plan, right? Like my anxiety is growing and growing and growing. Yeah, I think as I grew older, I also realized that hey, like it's okay, because even if the plan is perfect, it may never be perfect in execution. Yeah.
So true.
And I think that really shaped in terms of how I view things. Yeah. Sorry, I want to really bring this up because I think what really helped shape me to be very comfortable to be in a limbo is when I said this story so many times, but I have to say it here. So Sydney this year, okay, to be very honest, sorry, not Sydney, Brisbane. Yeah, I've been in a very, I guess, confused state. Yeah, in terms of who I am and who I want to be. Yeah, so I left for Brisbane. Yeah, I left to Sydney, right? To try to find and to relax and really reconfigure it in terms of what I want to do, right? And who am I actually? Yeah, let's do this exercise right now.
Okay.
If you're okay.
Sure.
Right. This is shout out to my cousin. Yeah. Shout out to my cousin who actually did this with me. I think it's really impactful. Yeah. Don't worry. I see you getting ready, but it's only one sentence. So just a question. So Okay, let me ask you. Okay,
Alright.
is the world flat?
Is the world flat? No.
Yeah. No.
No, it's not.
No.
No.
I think the world's flat. Do you think the world's flat?
No.
No. No.
No.
Okay. So a lot of the time, right? We are very certain that this is reality. This is what we know, right? And it doesn't matter the question, by the way. I'm not saying that the world is flat. That's not the whole idea of
So
it.
he thinks the world is flat.
That's not the whole idea of it. Okay, it's just the statement itself doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay, but what I'm trying to say is that to accept another person's statement, right? This is their truth, right? Let's talk about it. So I say, okay, so let's say if the world is flat, why? Tell me more.
Mm.
Yeah, it's the acceptance that this statement is real, right? This statement is there. Yeah, because by saying that this statement is there, it doesn't mean that you automatically agree with the statement,
Yeah.
right? It's just an entryway for conversations to start. Yeah, and when we are very certain that this is not right, this is not facts, right? We close off any opportunities
Yes.
that we have, yeah, to really kind of figure out like why, yeah. And I think for me that was a huge factor because when my cousin asked me that, I'm like, no. I was like very confused, right? I was very hesitant. I was like, why is he asking me whether the world is flat? Right? And I was like,
Dumbfounded.
no, but like maybe, I don't know. It's a trick question, right? Yeah, and I think it really shaped like how I have conversations right now because I will take that statement as it is there and then explore that statement, right? And then whether I agree or don't agree to some degree at this point of time can be decided after that, right? I don't want to close off any opportunities to learn more, right, about the person, to learn more about the topic itself. Yeah, and I think it has shaped me a lot in conversations, in meeting new people, right? Even if I may not agree, right? I want to sit there and listen. Yeah, and I think that whole exercise really shaped like me in terms of like knowing another person.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think drawing back to being very uncomfortable in finding out yourself, right, and not really facing like difficult situations and experiences at this moment in time is to really accept that, hey, this is who I am. Why? Yeah, and exploring that, right? Your definition of who you are may change as you grow older, right? But I think it's really to recognize that it's there,
Mm.
yeah, and then to move forward from there. I think it's something that would help the individual to really be comfortable
Yes.
in their own skin, yeah, and to make decisions and actions that align with who they are. Yeah, you can't make decisions based on nothing, right? And if you don't know who you are, then how can you be saying things that align with who you are, right? Doing things that align with who you are.
Then you'll feel that internal conflict.
Yeah, it's
And then
like,
you'll be even more confused.
correct. Then you'll be like, hey, actually, why am I doing this? I thought I like this, but I don't, right? That kind of thing. Yeah. So I think, I don't know, that really resonated with me like so much. Yeah, and when I spoke to like people about it, like I just like love like the reaction that comes with it. Yeah, because it shows how much a person is open, yeah, to ideas. Yeah, and I just want to put that out to the world. Thank you, cousin. Thank you.
Hi.
Okay. The camera died, so got a new battery. I should get more equipment. Anyone wanna crowdfund? Crowdfund, donate some money. Yeah. So anyway, going off what you said, I have three things that I wanted to bring up, but didn't want to interrupt you as you went on. So the first one was the whole getting to sit with yourself and learning about yourself. So it was a practice that was done by a psychiatrist who did this with his patients. So he made them sit in front of a wall, like, and just stare at the wall for 60 minutes,
Yeah.
right, or a certain duration. And I think the purpose of that was for them to tune into their thoughts and try to get them to process what is going on, but also try to notice like all the things that pop up in their heads, like how like a little bit of focus training as well, right? So just try to focus on one thing for a duration of time, right? And usually it's tough because we are so accustomed to having a lot of stimulus around us, like social media and people to interact with. So first of all, the exercise is hard. I've never tried it. I actually am interested to try it.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll try it and I'll tell you guys how it goes. Yeah, but usually what he says happens usually is for the first 10 to 15 minutes it's still bearable because it's not too long yet.
Yeah.
But once it gets into like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, that's when people start to go a little bit crazy. Like they get more agitated, they get a little bit more uncomfortable, right? And it's because they are now, they have nowhere to distract themselves from the thoughts that they always redirect their focus from. Yeah, and I think he even said like for some of his patients, they like legit have a full breakdown after the whole experience because it's that intense, right? So I think if you look at how humans have evolved, right, from way back in the day where you have not much distractions as recent times, you have a lot of time to just sit around and do nothing. If I'm not wrong, like not even that long ago when I was in primary school days, I had nothing to do. I mean, apart from TV, but it's not like streaming where you can choose what to watch. It's like either there are shit to watch or there's nothing to watch, and if there's nothing to watch, then you really have nothing to do.
It's like specific timings, specific shows.
Correct. Then you must allocate your at this time I need to go to this channel because this show is playing.
Yeah.
And then at this time you switch to this channel because now that show is playing. Right? Then in between got nothing, right? Then either just turn off the TV in between or you just watch a random show and be like,
like all the best.
yeah. So you have like those times where you really have nothing to do, and it's during those times where you can process your thoughts, or don't even have to process, but just have no thoughts.
Yeah.
Right? Like have a time off from using your head. So yeah, I think those were the 2 points that from what I have researched or also read up about, that was like, oh yeah, I read about this, and it also correlates with what you said.
Yeah.
And then the one more was I forget again. Yeah. The one more was about, I really forget.
The world is flat.
Yeah. The world is flat statement. So it's all about beliefs and being open to other people's beliefs, no matter how different it may be from what your core belief is. Because one of my next shows is gonna be with Calvin, and we're gonna be talking about beliefs. So when I was preparing for that, I was trying to find a way to talk about being open to other people's beliefs, because that's something that I also feel is important. Right? Because if you are very close off, that's how segregation happens. That's how you see people not as people but as enemies, because they're not in your belief circle. Right? And it's the whole just logical way of thinking. So if I am able to think that, so if I live in a world where I can think that your belief does not exist, so in this world that you live in, some beliefs can exist and some beliefs cannot exist. So who is to say that your belief exists? Right?
Yeah.
But if I live in a world where different forms of beliefs can exist, then that allows your belief to exist, because a belief existing is not possible.
Yeah.
Right? It's no black. There's no either exist or don't exist kind of thing. Right? So yeah, I think being open to everyone's belief, no matter how crazy it is. I think the line for me is just as long as it doesn't harm people, you know, it does not cause any negativity to others,
Yeah.
right? Then I think, you know, being open to beliefs is fine. Like don't shut other people's beliefs down. You can try to express your belief, but don't impose your belief on other people. That's down for them to discover for themselves. Yeah, so those were the things that were going through my mind when I was hearing your amazing insights. Yeah.
Coffee helped.
Yeah. Next time, no, don't drink coffee when you're trying to, because then you'll be overstimulated.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah, you gotta know what works for you.
Yeah, it's true.
Right. The next one I want to talk about is, do you know this term alexithymia?
Alexithymia. No, I don't actually.
So alexithymia is basically like being colorblind to emotions.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like you don't know what is happening to you, or you don't know what you're feeling.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not expert in it. I am not defining it as well as I probably should. But basically it is just being very shallow with your emotions, because you either have no guidance to learn what your emotions are, or somewhere in your neurological pathways, you know, something is not how it should be.
Okay.
Right? And over some studies, they researched that actually men or males are more have alexithymia more commonly.
Okay.
Yeah, which I think is not far-fetched to think about, because when you think of individuals who are a little bit more like not open to being vulnerable, those are males.
Yeah.
Right? And it's because they don't want to deal with their emotions, because I don't know, maybe it is something to do with their ego, or you know, their upbringing. Like it passed down, like because your great grandparents, you know, did not show their emotions, so their great grandparents, and it just passes down.
Yeah.
You know, you don't learn how to express your emotions as a male, right? You see your dad, they doesn't express their emotions that much, so you think that you know, as a guy, you know, it's not normal.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, I think this relates to something I also want to bring up, is that I think nowadays a lot of people are not very in tune or know how to express their emotions very well, right? So I've tried to find ways that, you know, encapsulates this idea, right? I think one is, I found this, there are actually different levels of emotional awareness, right? So there are 5. So the first one is awareness of physical sensations and your action tendencies, right? So the involuntary things that your body does when you have a situation, right? Like you will naturally feel scared when you see danger,
Yeah.
and you will naturally be more jumpy.
Like the fight and flight response.
Yeah, like that is
Yeah.
something involuntary,
Yeah.
right? So whether you are aware of it or not, it happens, right? Then the second one is being able to express that emotion, right? A single emotion, right? Oh, I'm scared, right? And I think this is where most people stop at, just being able to know how to say what you are feeling.
Yeah.
But more on that is, they only know how to express like the basic emotions, right? Like happy, sad, angry, scared.
Yeah.
Right? And also I found that in 2017, a research found that there are actually 27 distinct emotions
Yeah.
on the to express yourself with,
Yeah.
right? So count for yourself how many emotions you actually know, right? And think about how many of those situations you have been in that you are actually misrepresenting what you feel, right? Because when you misrepresent something that you feel, you will handle it in a not so conducive way or not so effective way,
Yeah.
right? How you deal with nervousness is different from how you deal with fear,
Yeah.
right? How you deal with jealousy is different from how you deal with anger,
Yeah.
right? So being more aware of what the spectrum of emotions are is gonna help you be more emotionally mature, right? If you keep finding that why are you always unhappy and you can never solve your situation, maybe it's down to, do you know what's going on within you?
Yep.
Because if you don't know what's going on within you, you don't know how to find a way to solve that problem. Yeah. Right. Okay, so then going back to the 5 levels, so number 4 is a blend of emotion. Right, so feeling multiple emotions, being able to recognize you're feeling different things at once.
Yeah.
Right, which is also the next thing which I think a lot of people should try to be open to. Right, it's not like, oh, this makes me angry.
Yeah.
There's so much depth to anger.
Yeah.
Right, there are so many more emotions that are attached to anger as well. Right, so knowing how to again identify all of that so that you can be logical and face each one or solve each one, as it comes. Right, and then the last one, the level 5, which is the highest level of emotional awareness, is blends of emotions. So for example, it's more of like deductive thinking.
Yep.
Right, so it's not just, okay, I'm feeling this and this as a blend of emotions. So now you're able to say, I'm feeling this and this because of this making me feel this, right? So it's going into the deeper realms of what you are feeling.
Yeah. Like
Right?
the layers, you're peeling off the layers.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's, as in, because I work mainly with teenagers, not even youth, teenagers.
Yeah. Teenagers.
Right? I mean, I'm not expecting them to all have like emotional awareness of the highest level,
Yeah.
but I can see how, if they are not taking this seriously for themselves, it might affect them in the future,
Yeah.
right? And not just them, but if let's say they have a family in the future, right? How they're going to affect their kids, and even how they find a partner, in their youth.
Yeah.
It's going to be so important for everyone to know or be more in tune or have a better relationship with their emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think emotions are something that's also very common that young people are not aware of.
Yeah. It's true. I love the statement of that, because as emotions, there's like an emotional wheel. Yeah, I've ever seen one before. It talks, or we show a lot of words that describes like happy, right? Electric, if you're scared,
the synonyms.
the synonyms, and because these words also describe the intensity of the emotion
Correct.
itself. Yeah, so sometimes having that visual representation can allow individuals to say like, hey, I think I'm feeling frustrated, right? I'm feeling, let's say, at the same time also panicky. Yeah, that could be a potential word as well. And I loved how you say that, being able to represent your emotions, right, as accurately as they can, really helps with how you then kind of move forward in terms of how you want to process said emotion, right? And even before that, I think an individual would have to be very honest with themselves, right? And say that I'm actually affected by this. Yeah. And I want to bring back the point where you were mentioning males, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think in our societal, situation, men have limited spaces. Yeah, I think for them to really express how they feel. Yeah, I think it's really a struggle between wanting to voice out what they want to say, right? And still keeping that societal image, of what men is.
Like the macho.
Yeah, like the masculine
always
energy.
in control.
Yeah, always in control. Can't shed a tear, just like no, like can't shed a tear, Yeah, and I think it really kind of have that vicious cycle.
Yeah.
Especially for men, is that when you don't recognize and you don't accept the emotion that you feel, regardless of how much of vocabulary you have, right, to really represent these specific moments and really breaking down the layers and layers, right, things may not be any different, right, because they will manage the situation based on what they think would be best, right, but not based on what they are actually feeling.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think to some degree that's quite sad. Yeah, it does take a lot of courage to be very honest, right?
Right.
Again, because it ties in also with who you are as a person. For example, I guess the most prominent ones in teenagers would be relationships, right?
Yeah.
Maybe the guy is saying things like, I'm not the jealous type, that's not who I am, I'm chill, I'm a cool dude, right? And then suddenly like maybe his girlfriend is hanging out with this guy that he doesn't know, and they're like laughing, and like he's seen them from far away, and he's like, what is this feeling that I'm getting, right?
It's like a plot to a killer movie.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, I'm feeling jealousy, correct?
Yeah.
But I'm not a jealous guy. Like, remember, I'm chill like that.
Yeah.
So having to really recognize that feeling jealous doesn't ultimately make you a jealous person,
Correct.
right? It's just how you naturally feel, and how do you want to address that and accept that, right? Before you can move things. So in this scenario, right, John, maybe his name is called John, right, can recognize that he's feeling jealous. This is just the level 2, right?
Yeah.
Being aware and stuff like that.
Being able to express your single emotion.
Yeah, and to see, okay, I'm feeling jealous, why? Right? And to really think about it, and then does he have also the capacity to share how he's feeling, right, with his partner? Yeah. And to also seek for more in terms of like, oh, what is happening? What is their relationship? Right?
So
Kind
the
of-
logical thinking behind it, and then the deductive thinking.
Yeah. So I think besides the logical aspect, right, now we're going to talk about the non-logical aspects, right? Sometimes we feel things just because. It could be either because we don't know where to place it yet. Yeah. We don't know where it's coming from. Yeah. Or it's just because it is a collective of things. Yeah. So I think at this point of time, again, right, sitting in that very uncomfortable state,
Yeah.
and really look through what is happening currently, yeah, and then to place that emotion with what is happening. Yeah, I think that takes time, that takes courage, that takes a lot of energy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, to really be very real with yourself and to sit there. Yeah, honestly, everyone is just human, right? We have days where we're just not feeling the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's really okay. Like, you don't have to have bad things happening to you to have a bad day. Yeah, it is just really where you're at right now, right? Sit with it, right? What do you want to do with these emotions? And then do your best to move forward, either by yourself or with someone else. Or if you don't want to move forward, just sit there. Yeah, I think a lot of the times when we recognize an emotion, we immediately go on to the how do we fix this.
Yes.
Yeah. What?
Like if we want a solution.
Yeah, like what can we do to feel better, right? Then I would question this. What can you do to stay afloat? To just make sure that you go by your day. Yeah. And to be at an okay state. Yeah. I think a lot of the time we want to change how we feel. And very dramatically. Yeah. Like instantly, like I'm feeling so sad right now.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm in the dumpster, like I'm down. I can't do anything. I gotta switch it up real quick and be very happy immediately.
Yeah.
It takes time, right, for your body to recognize that you're feeling like this and then to transit, right? It takes time for your mind to also shift. Yeah. Give yourself the space to feel it. Yeah. And to stay afloat. Yeah. So that you can do the things that you have to do based on your responsibilities and maybe your friendships, your commitments, and then deal with it the best that you can. Yeah. Staying afloat is alright. You
Yeah.
don't always have to shift the emotion, yeah, based on better emotions, quote unquote lah. There is no such thing as better emotions, but
Yeah,
like,
correct.
yeah.
Yeah, there's this one. You haven't heard of the Stoicism
Okay.
philosophy? Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
so there's one saying which is, it is not things that upset us. It is our judgment of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like even for emotions, there are no bad. It's only a bad emotion if you think it is bad.
Yeah.
But an emotion in itself is not bad or good. An
Mm.
emotion is just is basically a disturbance in your natural state, right? So
Yeah.
naturally we are just neutral,
Yeah.
right? An emotion is just something that changes us from that natural state, right? Which is not good or not bad. It's there so that we can know how to bring ourselves back to a normal state,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, I think when we want to find a solution is when we feel like it is a problem,
Yeah.
right? We're not going to find a solution if we're happy.
Yes.
We're
it's
just gonna
true.
stay happy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But
It's true,
if
it's true.
we are in an undesirable solution, we will a situation we want
Yeah.
to find a solution,
Yeah.
right? So that comes from thinking that this emotion is bad,
Yeah.
right? I'm
Yeah.
not saying anger is good or bad or whatever. It's not good or not bad. It is just something that tells you what you are feeling.
Yeah.
So now how can we then, bring ourselves back to a natural state, right? So, and I think on the point of emotions, emotions are a physiological response as well, right?
Yeah.
So whatever emotions we feel,
Mhm.
there is a physical
Yeah.
response in our body. So I think this is for maybe those who are more interested in trying to understand their own emotions, right?
Mm.
Like how to identify your emotions. I think somewhere online you can go and search up like what these connections are. So
Yeah.
if you feel it, like say, for example, butterflies in your stomach, there's
Yeah.
nervousness, right? You feel an discomfort in your stomach.
Yes.
Right.
There is no real butterflies in
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah. It's an expression. Yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
butterfly fly out. Yeah, but
Yeah.
so every emotion has a certain localized body discomfort or change,
Yeah.
right? So if you're able to find what parts connect to what emotion, then you no longer have to look at the emotion first. You just try to identify which part you are feeling it at,
Yeah.
and then from there you know what emotion you're feeling. Yeah, because sometimes what we think is the emotion may not be it, because we are limited by our knowledge
Yeah.
and we are tainted by our preconceived ideas of what we should be feeling, right? So yeah, I think for those that want to maybe be a little bit more emotionally aware, maybe this is one exercise you all can do as well. Like
Yeah.
just figure out how your body is connected to your emotions. Then from your responses, then deduce what you are feeling from your physical response, because your body will not lie.
Yes.
Your mind will lie.
Yes.
Your mind will be influenced, but your body will not be influenced
It's
that
true.
easily lah.
Yeah. My colleagues like to read this book called The Body Keeps a Score.
Ooh.
Yeah. I haven't had the privilege to touch it yet. But it talks about, I think, PTSD, yeah, clients that are going through therapy, treatment, and they are studying the idea that your body keeps all of the traumatic experiences and everything that you feel. Yeah, so like butterflies in your stomach is a sign of nervousness.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe tense shoulders could be a sign of stress.
Yes.
Yeah, headaches, so on and so forth. Yeah. And I love the idea and the statement that you said that the body doesn't lie.
Body doesn't lie.
Yeah. Because the whole premise is that your body is there to keep you alive,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
And your body is not going to give you a certain reaction that will cause harm to your body. It's like, that's just kind of weird,
Correct.
right? Yeah, and I think the book also explores the idea, yeah, and certain ways that they are kind of doing it, yeah, so that people can also understand the logical aspects and the scientific aspects behind why the body does that, yeah, and then how to also use that in their daily lives. Yeah, so we are not sponsored by them, but if you are interested in like that particular type of like, I guess, topics, yeah, then The Body Keeps the Score is a really good book.
The body keeps a score.
The Body Keeps the Score
the
or
score.
score?
The
I don't know,
score,
just scores.
Yeah, I might look it up. Sounds
Yeah.
pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. Alright, so next, we're almost there.
Yeah.
Next one is, okay, my topic for this is to ask, why do you think mental health issues are more prevalent now? And I mean, we talked a little bit about the different era already.
Yeah.
Like, you know, last time there was less stimulus around us and now there's more. So let's get into social media.
Yeah, you've been like eager to like get into
Yeah.
social media.
So,
Okay,
okay,
tell me more.
my issue
Yeah, okay, okay.
with social media
Yeah.
is, okay lah, I mean, it's just more of, yeah, every time I see my kids being my students,
Yeah.
I always call them kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, every time I see them like, you know, doing like in between their school and CCA, right?
Okay.
They're always just glued to their screens.
Yeah.
And I think there's nothing wrong with using social media,
Yeah.
but what is the purpose of you using it, right? Like, if it serves no purpose, then why are you doing
Yeah.
it, right? And another thing about it is that because I mean there is no like education on social media,
Yeah.
right? So we are not taught how do we properly use social media and how should we not use social media. And I think the most common thing social media is used for now
Yeah.
is not social media, but for avoidance of real life.
Yeah.
So real life is tough,
Yeah.
but virtual life not so tough.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna choose virtual life,
Yeah.
right? So for example, if you are, you know, dealing with a hard situation, your tendency is to just go online and do something fun
Yeah.
because that's easier than doing the hard thing,
Yes.
right? Or if let's say you get scolded, right? The hard thing is to think about what is it that you did wrong,
Yeah.
figure it out and all
Yeah.
that. The easier thing is to go online and just rant about it, right? Because nothing's gonna happen,
Yeah.
right? So you are not even processing it, you're just redirecting it. And that is why I feel there's a lot more mental health issues now, is because social media distracts the process
Yeah.
of
Processing
dealing
process.
with the real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Wow, it's a lot of things. I don't even know where to begin. Social media has been a very prominent thing in our, I want to say children also because I work with children now, with the students' lives. Yeah, and I think before I get into that, again, Australia, right? I think as I was having a conversation with my cousin and my cousin's friend, right, I realized that I was not a very good conversationalist. Yeah, I broke it down really slowly just so that I could pronounce it. Yeah, I realized that, you know, like I didn't really know what to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, nor did I had very interesting topics to bring up. Yeah, I wouldn't say interesting topics in the sense where it's like, oh, you gotta always be like very philosophical, we have to talk about life, but like even the very like general mundane things like, you know, what would be like good in Singapore, you know, like what is like
small talk.
Yeah, like the small talks or like things that are like really interesting, right? And it got me thinking because my cousin my cousin said this statement. He said, "You said a lot, but you said nothing."
Oof.
And then I didn't know whether to get offended or okay, but I didn't get offended, right? Because it got me thinking, yeah, like everything that I've said was just noise. Yeah, that brought me back to social media because I think nowadays we use social media differently,
Correct.
right? Influencers use it as a job,
Yeah.
right? Maybe mothers use it as a way to show their family,
Yeah.
right? So on and so forth, you know. I personally use it because I like to see what my friends are doing. Yeah, I think being an introvert, again, you only have limited amount of energy, right? If you talk to everyone every single day, I will get very tired, not gonna lie.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah, so social media for me, like, that is really nice, right? And also to show like maybe my experiences that I had. Yeah. I personally like to keep my more private like life like out of social media if I could. Not secret, but just, you know, like in terms of
You
not
don't
showing
have to
that
show
much.
it,
Yeah. And I think it's sometimes my curiosity would also be in terms of what is the intention that the students are using social media for, right? Is it an escape from reality? Yeah, which can coexist again, right? Sometimes you need the space to not think, to think,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
you need that break in order to release your mind from all of the processing, right? To reconfirm yourself again, and then to come back to the hard stuff, right? And then it comes with the what is then the balance, right? Between having an escape of reality and then also using it just because. Yeah, and I think the reason why I brought up the cousin thing is because sometimes I do hear students say things that like I don't know what to say. That's why I'm on my phone. Yeah, or it's like, yeah, but I'm texting them, but they are literally right beside you.
I can't send those people.
So yeah, in my head I'm very curious to know why, right? And sometimes I think also because of what we are feeding ourselves, right, in terms of the media that we see, it can also shape in terms of like what you are talking about. Yeah, conversations that you would have. Yeah, people that you would attract. Yeah, and I think sometimes if we are just looking at memes, it's still funny. Love them, right?
Love memes.
Yeah, love memes. Yeah, but if you're just looking at memes, then it could limit the things that you talk about, right? It could also limit in terms of maybe the potential growth that you are seeking for. Yeah. And I think it's very important as well to know like what it is serving, what purpose in life is it serving for you at this moment. Is it like your creative aspects, right? Is it a way for you to share your voice?
Yes.
Is it a way for you to share your experience? Yeah, and I think it's a very different thing. Again, it is very different when you share your experience, right? And you are sharing things that would re-traumatize someone. Yeah, and I think it's really a gray area, and I'm not here to tell you like how to differentiate and you know that kind of thing, because our experiences could trigger another person, right? Indirectly, directly, things like that. I think it's really how we are very mindful about what we present outside that I think matters a bit more. Yeah, and ensuring that these experiences are helpful, right? What is the real purpose of sharing these experiences?
Yes.
Is it a way for you to vent out how you're feeling? Then maybe social media is not the best platform to do that, right? But if it's a way for you to share an experience and say that, hey, you are not alone, right? I have also felt like that, right? Many others may have also felt like that, right? If you need support, right? Support is out there, yeah. Then that could be a better content, I guess. Yeah. To place on social media and stuff like that. Again, I'm not here to tell you what to do, right? Just staying in terms of like own opinions lah. Yeah.
I think personally, everything that you have said is to do with, I mean not everything, most of the things that you say is to do with having purpose
Yeah.
of why you are using social media.
Yeah.
Right, which I agree with, right? If you have a purpose for it, like for example, for me, I'm using social media to try to, spread more content about things that I feel is helpful,
Yep.
right? Like some other, like I follow a lot of coaches on Instagram as well, because they are also teaching a lot of education stuff,
Yep.
right? So all those have purpose,
Mm.
right? But I think the more prevalent one nowadays is just unconscious scrolling. It's like
Yeah.
it's to the point where I think
Yeah.
this was me last time as well, like when I
Yeah.
was in poly,
Mm.
like to the point where only I think it's halfway, like 30 minutes into it, then I realized I'm actually on social media.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even realize, what? My Instagram app is open,
Yeah.
right? Like it's to the point where it's really unconscious,
Yeah.
right? Like if you were to swipe up your phone, your thumb automatically goes to
Yes.
where your Instagram app is put in your,
It's true.
right? I think if any of y'all can close your eyes into it, right, that is a
Yeah.
sign that you are a little bit on the unconscious side of
Yeah.
using social media,
Yep.
right? So I think it's just, it's not about don't use social media.
Yeah.
It's really just about cultivating a healthy relationship with social media,
Yeah.
so you don't use it to the detriment of yourself,
Mm.
because it's gonna cause a lot more problems in the long run,
Yeah.
and it's just gonna be a vicious cycle, because the more problems you have, the more you're gonna want to go to social media, which will then
Yeah.
exacerbate the problem even more.
Mm.
It's a never-ending cycle,
Yeah.
right? So again, it's a tough thing to then also try to manage, and again, it takes a lot of time, and
Yeah.
it takes a lot of self
Mm.
discovery, acceptance, and admittance that this is a problem for you. No one wants to admit like they have a problem,
Yeah.
right? It's one of the hardest things to do.
Mm.
But I mean, if anyone is really invested in themselves, then I think it's something that should be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. And I think the idea as well is to fill up time. As you are commuting, as you are trying to relax your mind, social media is the number one thing that you reach out for. It's easy, you don't have to think much, it just flows, right? And it's also the societal's norm to kind of do that,
Yeah.
right? Recently I've been very into Audible books, right? And I'm very into like
Yeah,
Kindle.
y'all can play this podcast while you're traveling.
yeah. Just do that. Yeah, and podcasts, right? Love podcasts as well. Yeah, and I think we need to find ways to occupy
Yeah.
and to fill up, to enrich your lives, right? Instead of social media, and having that balance would really help, I guess, an individual. Again, only if it is aligning with what you want to do, right?
Yes.
At this juncture, if you feel that you're on the road to becoming an influencer, I don't know, any other stuff that relates to social media, and you feel that you have to be on social media, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's really based on your judgment and how it benefits you. Yeah. I think for students, I do hear them talk about numbers. Yeah. So let's talk about that. Numbers of followers.
Oof.
Yeah. So
Yes.
a lot of the times they always say things that you have to have more followers than following.
Okay,
right?
I mean, I was like that last time.
Yeah. And then you have to have a certain amount of likes and comments.
Oh yes.
And then when you do
Am I in
posts and
poly
stuff,
again?
right? It's just a very common thing, I think, and it will be a very common thing, like I think in the near future as well, for
Yeah.
just younger individuals trying to figure out themselves, right? The idea of why we also want to be aware of these numbers is because of our self-worth, right? also because of how we want to see ourselves in our social circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, social circles.
The hierarchical.
Yeah, like the hierarchy of like, oh, this person is popular, you know, I want to be like them as well, this is how I can achieve that, right? And I think also being very aware about how social media is affecting you, right? The impact that it has. Yeah, not only to the people that are viewing it, but also like how you use it and how it's these numbers and likes affecting you.
Yes.
Yeah. Definitely very prone to that, right? Especially when you're in secondary school. Yeah, I was a victim to it as well, right? I think a lot of us were. In terms of having enough like followers, enough likes, you know, do you keep your account private? Do you keep your account public? You know, that kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think definitely as you grow older, you place your self-worth differently, right? So it honestly no longer affects me, but it's a very prominent concern, yeah, for teenagers, I think, because it's also a space where everything is happening, right? And I also want to acknowledge that, right? And also to see how else can you maneuver around it. Yeah, it's not to say that we should solve the problem, right?
Yeah.
It may not even be a problem for you to begin with. Yeah, but it's really in terms of, then it would encourage me to think a bit deeper in terms of why are these numbers impacting me the way that they are.
Yeah. And I think everyone should have that
Yeah.
that thought process.
Mm.
You know, it's not just identifying the problem,
Yeah.
right? What will make it more healthy is identify the problem, then ask why.
Yeah.
Try to find the reason why.
Yeah.
Then it does not feel so shameful anymore, or like to admit that you have, because there is a reason why,
Yeah.
and most of the time it's things that you either had no control of, or it wasn't even like your fault in the first place, in a sense, for some reasons. Right? So
Yeah.
go deeper and ask the why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. And if you don't know how to maneuver it yet, write it down. Revisit it few days, few months, few years, right? Come back to it. Yeah, and then say, oh, at this point of time, I couldn't understand it yet. Yeah. Now that I'm older, now that I have been through certain things, I have the resources. Now I know why. Yeah. And it doesn't always come with age. Yeah. I think the reason why I'm saying the years go by, you know, as you get older, things like that, is because when you have enough years, you are also, or you have the chance to experience certain things in life. Yeah. Based on the life stages that you have, based on just the years alone. Yeah. It doesn't always mean that you have to be older to understand certain things, right? But it just brings windows of opportunity for you to grow, yeah, and learn. Yeah. So that's where I'm coming from. Yeah. Rather than the age itself. Yeah.
Yep. Technology.
Yeah.
Man.
Technology.
Yeah. So I think just the most important thing is just managing your mental health.
Yeah.
Yeah, and identifying what is helpful and what is not helpful. Right. So, and there are definitely those things in between where you also want to be very, very aware of, like the things that neither help nor is bad.
Yeah.
Because those are the things that are wasting your time. Right? Unless you do them for a purpose of you really want to break from everything.
Yeah.
Right? But it's just always being aware of what you are doing. Okay, so what I'm doing, good, bad, or neutral. Right? Is this what I want to do now? Do I have the capacity to maybe do something productive to help me manage it? Do I have the energy to? If I don't have, then it's okay to do something neutral. Right? But the more one is you want to know what is bad. Right?
Yeah.
So you really try to avoid it, or at least be able to recognize it when, let's say, you are halfway through.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you don't even know it's bad, even if you are like 3/4 way through, you're not gonna realize it because you don't know it's bad.
It's
right?
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, like building that awareness that this is happening,
Mm.
right? Like the incident where you say, 30 minutes, I'm stuck
Yeah.
in.
When that happened, right? That was the
Yeah.
point where I really
Yeah,
realized that I had an issue with
Yeah.
social media and being addicted to
Mm.
technology.
yeah.
And even for me, I'm not a gamer.
Yeah.
So I mean, not saying that gaming is bad, but
Yeah.
I would assume that those who
Mm.
game would have a little bit more, not say addiction to technology, but
Yeah.
they just use it more. So hence, naturally, more of their life would be spent on technology,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, I think, and now, last time gaming used to be just laptop game,
Yeah.
but now gaming is on the phone, so everything is in one. So even
Yeah.
more, it's like, yeah.
It's true. Yeah. I think with the use of technology, humans being present are very rare to find. Yeah. I'm trying to consistently practice being present in a space, right? I think a lot of the time as well, people are very used to their phones.
Yes.
Yeah, hence why as they're talking, they are also scrolling.
Yeah, I hate
Yeah.
people who do that.
Also scrolling through their IG, also chatting away with another person.
Correct.
I do not know how they are having so many conversations at once. Nor do they. I just wow. I think that's a lot to take in, right? But I think also being very mindful that we are also in the presence of another human being.
Yes.
Yeah, and that really got me thinking in terms of practicing that and putting the technology aside.
Yeah.
Right, saying things like, for example, if you are, let's say, working, right, saying, hey, I have to settle a few things and then my attention is all yours, right? Doing the work, blah blah blah, chatting away, just give me 5 minutes, right, text, done, put the phone down and say, if there's an emergency, someone's gonna call me, I have to pick it up, but other than that, like, I'm gonna do my best not to get the phone,
Yeah.
right? Or let's say like students, right, especially when they are going through something. I feel that when we are talking about very deep stuff, like maybe a breakup or someone passed away, right, then that's when people are putting down their phones.
Mm.
Yeah, but why does it take such an important moment for you to put down your phone, right? Every moment is important. Every time when you are interacting with someone, it is as important as
Yeah.
when they are sharing their vulnerable state. Yeah, so of course naturally we want to be present with maybe people that we're talking to online due to certain circumstances and stuff, right? But I think it's also really important for us to be mindful, yeah, that this other human being has took their time and effort to come down to meet
Yes.
you, right? And to also respect their time, right? And to really try to be there, right?
Yeah.
To be present. Again, not to say that you can't use your phone 100%, right? But it's really selecting moments where you use them and to also then be fully present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like, firstly, setting boundaries for yourself with
Yeah,
you and your phone
yeah,
and technology.
yeah,
I think secondly is also not saying, I agree with you, it's not that you cannot do it,
yeah,
but I think you are the person who relies a lot on their phone, let's say really for work, you are really a working through phone kind of thing.
yeah,
Now I think it's just more of knowing the people you are with or the person you are meeting,
yeah,
right? Like
It's true.
respecting whether they are the kind of person who is, the one who's to be really present,
Yeah.
like they appreciate more
mm,
personal time.
yeah,
And I think for me, I am one of those don't use phone when we are with someone kind of
Yeah.
person, and that's why I don't reply a lot of times.
yeah.
Because usually when people text me, somehow I'm just with people.
Sorry.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
it's like after I separate from them, it's just like so much text. It's
Yeah.
just like
So overwhelming, right?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I loved it. I was sharing with Astrid about the relationship that I have with Shukran.
yeah,
Yeah. So Shuk and I, right, we are not very big on texting. I think we are texters, but we also don't text
only if necessary.
that much. Yeah. Only if we're like maybe really close, or because of certain circumstances. Yeah, and we will send voice recording, especially when it's too long to text, right? And then we will reply with the next line to say, whenever you are free, take your time. You don't have to reply it immediately. Yeah, and I think sometimes it's really not about just the action alone, but also the way we communicate, right? And to say that, hey, this is where I'm at, you know, this is what I'm doing right now. Yeah, just give me a few more time and then it'll be yours. Yeah. Or saying things that, hey, I know I'm supposed to meet you. I have this really important meeting to attend at 2. Yeah, which I know is the meeting point that we have. Would it be nicer for me to take that meeting first and then to meet you after, so you have my
Undivided.
undivided attention? Or would you be comfortable for me to have this meeting right here, and then after that my time is yours?
Yeah.
Right. So I guess really communicating the needs that you have. Yeah. Like Shuk and I, like we tend to not use our phones again, right? When we are in each other's presence, and as well as if it is something that we need help for, yeah, we would either text and say, hey, can I call you real quick? Yeah, I need your opinion on something. Yeah, and then we just talk and then see how things are. Yeah. I think it's just a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I think ultimately that was what all this was made for. Is to is to help the
complement.
connection. And not for you to rely on.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is that. Okay, bringing it back to mental health. Suddenly we had a whole chapter on social media.
Sorry.
Maybe we should have just one specific one just for that.
Yeah.
But anyway, coming back, I think another reason why I think that more mental health is, again, something similar to what you said just now, is the whole pressure, you know, having more expectations, and not external expectations but also internal expectations, because the world is just getting more and more competitive and the standards are so much higher, which is a testament to, like, you know, evolution and progression. But it just has a lot more demands for success. And I think for those that still feel success is very, very important in your trajectory or journey in life, I would like to quote one of my favorite people.
Let's
Astrid,
go.
what's his name?
Alex Hormozy?
Alex Hormozy. So he says, success is a strange thing. Presumably we want success because we think a more successful life will bring us more happiness, meaning, and fulfillment. But here's the problem. We sacrifice the thing we want, which is happiness, for the thing that is supposed to get it, success. So failure can make you miserable, but I'm not sure that success will make you happy. That was the quote. So we success what? We success. Success. So it's the middle line. We success we sacrifice the thing we want, happiness, for the thing that's supposed to get it, success. Right? So to me that's like, it's like you are trying to be happy from success, but you're sacrificing happiness for success. Right? So it's, and that's the reason why people, I feel, are very unhappy nowadays, is because they are sacrificing their current happiness to get success, which will hopefully make them happy. But then the thing they don't realize is, once they get to that point of success, they are not going to be satisfied there, because they're conditioned to look for success. So they will not feel successful when they are at that perceived level of success. They will straight away just think, what's the next level of success? Then they will sacrifice whatever happiness they get at that point to get to another point of happiness. So to me, that's what I have come to believe about the concept of success. Like, I mean, yes, success is great and everything, but it's just a destination. Right? You should not delay your happiness. Right? You can be happy now.
Yeah.
right? You can be happy now and still be successful in the future,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Yeah.
you should not sacrifice your happiness now
Okay.
to be successful, to then be happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whose definition of success are we looking at?
I think personally, for me at least, like, it's
Yeah.
always been internal.
Okay.
Yeah, it's always been like, yeah, I gotta, I know what I want, and I know what's, like, say for example, elites,
Okay. Okay.
right? Like,
Yeah.
I know where I want it to go, and I know
Yeah.
where I want it to look like,
Yeah.
right? So then success for me would be for it to be like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you say that was a success for you?
I mean, previously when I was when we first started and everything, like batch
Yeah.
1 maybe to batch 3, 4,
Yeah.
like I was still very, I would say, undeveloped in my introspection,
Yeah.
like all these things, right?
Yeah.
So to me it was more common the way I saw success as with people, right? You have to get it, and if you don't
Yeah.
get it, it's failure, right? So at that point, it was just very miserable.
Yep.
But at this point right now, it's just more of enjoying the journey as you go along. Like, you
Yeah.
have the goal, yes, but more important is the how you get there. Enjoying the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I answered your question, but
No, I think to some degree you did. I think the reason why I asked as well is because to me, success can be obtained without sacrificing your happiness, right? And then I think I always ask this question in terms of who defines success.
yeah,
Yeah, and how do we measure success?
yeah, I would.
Right. And that's why I would also be very curious to know in terms of the statement itself, because now the idea is that a lot of the time we are also influenced by societal's definition of success, right? So let's take elites as an example in terms of other youth like dance teams, right? And their success, like what are they doing, right? In terms of the practicality of things, they are performing at these particular stages, right? They're doing certain things, the quality of dance, so on and so forth. And then compare it to elites, right? In that particular definition, would I then classify the work that we are doing as successful, right? And then I will look internally in terms of why did I created this? Yeah. From an outside perspective, I thought you reached your goal because the idea was that the core of elites, correct me if I'm wrong, right, is to provide a platform for students to grow and learn, right, out of secondary school, right, really for them to develop and then to move forward in this industry or just in general,
Yeah.
right? And as long as they have reached these particular goals for themselves, my success has been met. Yeah, regardless of at which stage it was obtained, right? That's also a questionable thing to mention, right? And in terms of the logical aspect of it is to what percentage is it then classified as success? Yeah, so I think a lot of times when in terms of the general population, when they're thinking about success in Singapore's context, it's really about having that perfect family life, right? It's having that perfect house that
Yes.
you have. It's having a car, right? It's having the job that you want and to be of a high status, right? But if that's not your definition of success, then there are so many other ways that you can reach success, right? And who to say that the milestones that you hit are also not successes, right? Again, I think the idea of it is that success is an end goal, right? And I think what you have mentioned as well is that it is more of a journey than an end goal,
Yeah.
right? And having to celebrate pit stops to these successes that you have, I think plays a bigger role than having an ultimate success that you could potentially never reach because it's ever changing, right? Because now I think our definition of success is very end goal-ish, right? Like I want to like I want to maybe be the CEO of Google,
Ooh.
right? Okay, and then suddenly like I reach there, I'm like, this is not what I want, this is not what I like, right? Is it successful? I don't know, right? Because you reached your end goal, but was that the purpose of why you wanted to be the CEO of Google, right? What is the underlying factor of why you wanted this in the first place? Yeah, and to really dive in deeper, I think being the Google CEO is just the medium, right? But what do you get out of that? I think that matters a lot more. Do you gain the experience? That is why you're working towards being the CEO. Do you want to have more responsibility so that you can tackle bigger projects, right? Do you want to shape Google in any other particular way?
Yeah.
Not to say that we are aiming to be
Google.
CEO of Google.
Hire us.
Yeah. Just an example, right? But
If you need tech work, Astrid is here.
Astrid is here. Yeah. But I guess it's really the underlying factor of like why you want that goal. Yeah, and I think to have just that end goal as a success is very miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's very difficult to reach. Yeah, and you don't celebrate the small milestones in your life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think very debatable.
Yeah,
I
I
think
can
it's very
go on and
debatable.
on about
Yeah,
this topic.
It's true, it's true.
But I think just quickly, I don't want to go too in depth to it.
Yeah.
But I think one is, again, a concept I heard about applying finite rules to an infinite game.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, life, yes, is finite because eventually we'll die and everything like that.
Yeah.
But look at it. It's very long. It's
Yeah.
technically almost infinite in
Yeah.
a sense, right? So having a goal which is something that is definitively an end,
Yeah.
right? Like to say I want to achieve this,
Yeah.
then that's the end,
Yeah.
right? Your goal should be I wanna keep progressing.
Yeah.
So this is my next milestone,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Then you are gonna be more like you're gonna pace yourself a lot better,
Yeah.
right? And you're gonna know that it's a long journey. You're gonna know that it's gonna take time,
Yeah.
right? So I think the finite infinite thing helped shape my perspective of longevity,
Mm.
right? And I also think it helped me in my running
Yeah.
because damn, it's tiring.
Yeah.
My goal is 2400 in a year,
Yeah.
right? And the old me will be like, right out of the block, should run as much as I can,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But now I know this, infinite thing,
Yeah.
right? Every time I feel like I can go for more, it's just more like, is this gonna help me in the long run,
Yes.
right? Like I reached my goal for this month,
Yeah.
but the month is not over,
Mm.
right? I can still run like another half marathon distance in the next 2 days,
Yeah.
right? But if I do that, maybe I will risk burning out,
Yeah.
right? So I can take it easy. I've reached my goal,
Yeah.
right? So I take it easy and then wait for the new block to start,
Yeah.
then I can go again,
Yeah.
right? So same as how I am
Mm.
now trying to build, a new system for the things I'm working on,
Yeah.
right? It's not about how can we reach that goal, but it's
Yeah.
about how can we keep it going,
Mm.
for however long we can, right?
Yeah.
Sustainability and just longevity in the mind. I think the thing that most people may not realize is that it does not take a lot to actually be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
Because nowadays people make it easy to be great because they just give up or they switch to different things very fast.
Yeah.
Like I heard this thing about podcasting is where if you come out with 21 episodes,
Okay.
you're in the top 9% of podcasters in the world.
Wow.
Like 21 episodes.
Okay.
Yeah, like
Whoa. That's
yeah,
a lot to
because
think about. Yeah.
people after like 5 episodes,
Yeah.
they maybe give up.
Yeah. They're like
Or-
done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because maybe their purpose of doing it was maybe they wanted to earn money from it or they wanted to
Okay.
do this, right? But if my purpose is I just want to do it because I like it,
Yeah.
right? I'm naturally gonna just
Keep doing it.
keep
yeah.
doing it more,
Yeah.
right? Because you are happy every single step of the way,
Yeah.
right? Let's
True.
get back to the happiness and success thing, right?
Mm.
Because now to me, success is just being able to put out an episode.
Yeah.
And my success is not, oh, I need to get this amount of listeners, or I must get this amount of followers, or
Mm.
whatever it is. So again,
Yeah.
linking it back to social media and everything,
Yeah.
right? Followers and everything.
Mm.
And yeah, I think people just don't realize how easy it is to be great. You just gotta stick with something and find a way to be consistent and do it for the long run.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with mental health, right?
Mm.
The things you use to cope with,
Yep.
right? It has to be sustainable as well,
Yeah.
right? If let's say going on a vacation to a relaxing place helps me to process my thoughts
Mm.
and all that, that's not sustainable because it's gonna cost a lot.
Yeah.
And as a working adult, I don't think you've got that much leave.
Yeah.
Right.
Unless you're freelancing, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's all about sustainability and having an infinite structure on the things
Mm.
you are doing. Yeah, because those are the more worthwhile things than finite stuff.
Yeah.
Because finite things will come to an end, and basically what you have done so far is just not say wasted, but
Mm.
there is no like okay, unless you get a super big return of investment on that finite thing,
Yeah.
right? Then maybe that's worth doing.
Mm.
But the infinite things are, to me, right now where I'm at. I'm not saying again it's the ultimate way to go, but where I'm at right now,
Yeah.
it makes more sense
Mm.
than like finite goals and
Mm.
objectives. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe once you're like 80 lah, then maybe you have a finite. Because I mean,
I really
I mean,
love that. Love that.
yeah, if I'm still doing this at 80 years old, maybe I'll start changing it to finite. What's my end goal?
My final episode.
Yeah. The final one, the end game.
The end game.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, but anyway, so I think just to wrap it up, it's been a super long episode.
Yeah.
What is the best advice you will give for people struggling with negativity?
Wow. Best.
Yeah, or okay, not best, like I mean just
Okay.
like right now, what do you think about everything we've spoken so far? What do you think is what is the one thing that maybe is standing out for you in terms of advice?
Wow. For negativity.
Or like anything, mental health, let's
Just
say.
mental health related. I think okay, I practice this, so I think it's something that really resonates with me a lot, is to not assume. Yeah. So the idea is that from a professional standpoint, right? I guess the stereotype is that we know everything, and it is within our best capacity and our best judgment. Everything that we say is absolute. Yeah. But I think some of the times is that because of that, we tend to feel like we know everything, or we tend to feel like we understand.
Mm.
Yeah. But I think the best advice that I could give is to not assume and ask. Yeah. So yes, it is within this person's character to do something like this. But why? Yeah. And ask. And let's say if John, we like the word John, I guess. If John is
John, where are you?
John, where are you? Where are you? Let's say if John is naturally a very calm person, but he started screaming out of nowhere, right? Because he's very angry at this person, right? I can't just assume that, like, John is very chill. I don't think he did that, right?
Yeah.
And ask John, like, hey, what's up? Like, what's happening? Yeah, for you. Like, tell me why. Yeah. and never assume. I think that saves us a lot of trouble of not overthinking about the endless possibilities of why the person is doing this, you know. But I think it's also very humbling to share that experience with someone, yeah, and to accept what is happening for them, right? Verbalizing things for someone who is struggling is very powerful because it brings reality into the words that they're saying. Yeah, saying things like I need help, right, in your mind, and when you speak the truth out, it's a whole different thing. Yeah, I had clients come in and say, finally saying things like I need help, right, verbally, and they just started crying.
Oh, that happened to me.
Yeah, because I think having in your head is saying like, yeah, I need help, but actually saying it is so difficult. And then when you say it, it's like a moment of release, right? And saying like, oh my god, I do really need help. Like this is something that I need. Yeah, and I think for a person to not assume how you're feeling, right? Like, especially for people that are constantly very strong or have a very like strong personality in terms of they're very perseverant, they know what to do with certain things, right? It's also to never assume that they're always alright. Yeah. And then I stick with that. I can go on and on, I will not. but I think stick with this
Don't assume.
yeah, don't assume, just full stop. Yeah, that's my best advice.
Well, I felt that whole I need help thing so much.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
that was what happened with me. So that moment was when I think I was starting to realize that there was something wrong,
Yeah.
and like finally putting a not label on it, but you know, trying to understand just whatever was happening, I think. Because for me, my experience with mental health, now that I look back on it, like I've realized it started all the way back, like whenever my first memories.
Yeah.
Like all the way back in kindergarten and everything. In kindergarten, I was thinking about death.
Yeah.
Somehow, I have no idea why.
Yeah.
And even all through primary school, secondary school, and all that, it was there.
Yeah.
Right. And at that point, I thought it was normal. Like, well, everybody thought about death.
Yeah.
And wasn't happy naturally. Right.
Yeah.
Or just suddenly feel unhappy for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then the first point where I realized something was wrong, I think was in primary school.
Okay.
Right. Was when I knew I was supposed to feel happy, but I just was incredibly unhappy for no reason.
Yeah.
So it was like, coming back after a super nice holiday, right? And you're supposed to be like super happy, like, hey, you went on holiday, enjoy yourself and everything. And I came back, I was like, what?
Yeah, it was like,
kind of thing. Like,
yeah.
So I think it was the first time I realized something was wrong, but then never really put a finger on it.
Okay.
Right? Then I think it was only super bad in poly.
Yeah.
And I think reflecting on it, I think it was mostly because there was because poly from secondary school is very different, especially for me from an all boys school, to now co-ed, and
Yeah.
just the culture of poly is super different from secondary school. So I think it's just an overstimulus that triggered like whatever underlying issues there were.
Yeah.
And dealing with a lot of commitments as well, because I was NRing a lot of practices and all that stuff, so less time to process internally, right? Then I think it just became super bad that one day I was just like staring out the window at night, just thinking, right? Then my mom came up to me and asked me what was wrong.
Yeah.
And I just started breaking down. I just told her I need help.
Yeah.
Because something was wrong, but I don't know what.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
tough.
Thank you for sharing. Wow, that was I could also sense that when your body was was trying to, fight whatever you're saying, right?
Yeah.
But then you're trying to also relax yourself.
Yeah, I'm trying to like not say
Yeah.
normalize it, but
Yeah.
again, I don't want to make myself think that it's bad to be able to say all this, right? So the more I do it, like put
Yeah.
myself in these uncomfortable situations,
Mm.
the more it will normalize it for myself lah.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing to be ashamed of or embarrassed about.
Yep.
But it is what it is lah.
Yeah, just your
Which is my
experience.
favorite quote. It
Yeah,
is what
It is what it is.
I hate that.
I love it. It is what it is.
Like, it makes sense to say it, but
Yeah.
I hate saying it.
Yeah.
Well, it is what it
It
is. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. For me, I think relating to whatever I just said, my biggest advice I can give about mental health is just introspection.
Yeah.
Like you just have to spend time with yourself and understand yourself. No one can understand you for you. They can only help you understand you.
Yeah.
But the thing with, not say relying, but getting other people to help you is that they also don't know how to help you. Right? So they will not necessarily help you, even though their intentions is to help you.
Yeah.
So the only way you will really understand yourself is you need to understand yourself through yourself. Right? And to me that did wonders for my own experience and my own mental health. Right? And it's not saying totally be independent.
Yeah.
Right? But start from yourself. Then you understand what you don't know. Then you can then ask the specific things you want to know.
Yeah.
Right? Rather than being bombarded with like different things that people guess might be happening with you. Right? Because then you are problem solving. You're trying to decipher everything.
Yeah.
Whereas you can be focused where you think of your own self and what you're going through. And again figure out exactly what it is you don't know and what it is you are unsure of, and then get that specific like help and insight. Yeah, so introspection. Put your damn phone down. Put your
Whoa.
damn phone down.
Yeah. Maybe delete the app, I don't know.
Stare at the wall for 60 minutes.
Whoa. Time out. Just time out.
Yeah, and just deal with your emotions and your feelings. And I think once you can understand, I think the best thing about it is then you also, if you get to the point where you are very in tune with your feelings, you understand that other people have these feelings as well.
Yeah.
And then you just feel more connected with the people because number one, you understand why maybe they are like this.
Yep.
Right? And then you have a bit more compassion for people because what you go through they may be going through. Right? So yeah. Put your damn phone
Put your phone
okay,
down,
have
guys.
a purpose for your technology.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Oof, this has been an insightful session. I think we can go on for like 2 more hours. I think this whole thing's already been more than 2 hours.
It's
And
true.
we can go on for another 2 more hours.
Yeah.
But for the benefit of your ears and your time,
Yeah.
we will stop here for now.
We will come back in Australia.
Actually,
We'll do another one in Australia.
oh my god, hey, plans, future plans. I don't mind. Let's go.
Yeah, maybe at the beach and the waters, I don't know. Just kidding, we don't know where the equipment's gonna go.
Alright,
Yeah.
so
Crazy.
Yeah.
alright, so this is Charmaine.
Yeah. This is Wayne. Thank you for having me.
This is the Juan More Thing Podcast, and thank you for tuning in. Please help to grow this channel. Follow the show, like, share. I think sharing is the best thing you can do for this show. And I'm not saying like just randomly share it, but I think more purposefully share it with those who you feel it will benefit, right? Because those are the ones that will really benefit from whatever we are doing. Yeah. So please help us to grow this channel. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Peace.
Bye.
Yeah.
Yay!
It's on.
Damn. It's
Ouch.
3 hours.
Shit.
Ugh.
Okay, everybody take a stand break. A stand